Dear students, after having an introduction about health education, today we are going to study about the ill effects of smoking. When we talk about smoking, it is actually related to tobacco smoking. Tobacco is an agricultural product which is obtained by the processing of leaves of a plant belonging to the genus Nicotiana. Here you can see the plant Nicotiana, and there are two species of Nicotiana plants which are widely used. They are Nicotiana tabacum and Nicotiana rustica. And among these two species, Nicotiana tabacum is the most widely grown species. These two plants, they contain a poisonous alkaloid called nicotine, which is the stimulating component that is causing addiction. Nicotine is synthesized in the roots of the plants, and they are transported through the stem and stored in the leaves. These leaves are harvested, they are then cured. Here you can see the leaves are kept for curing. And this curing process allows the slow oxidation of carotenoids in the leaves. After that, the leaves are collected, they are cut into fine pieces or they are powdered, and they are then mixed with certain additives to improve the quality or the palatability of the smoke. And after that, this powder is then used for making cigarettes. Then there are three different modes of using tobacco. They can be used for smoking, using in cigarettes, cigars, BDs, pipes, or hubble bubble. Then they can also be used for chewing. The powdered tobacco leaves are chewed along with pan masala. Then the powdered leaves are also used for snuffing through the nose. We are talking about tobacco smoking, and when a person is smoking tobacco, he will be releasing the smoke to the surrounding. There are two types of smoke that he is releasing, that is the mainstream smoke and the side stream smoke. The mainstream smoke is coming from it is released from the filter end or the mouth end of the cigarette, and the side stream smoke is released from the burning tip. And the mainstream smoke is only 15%, whereas the side stream smoke is about 85%. In addition to that, the side stream smoke contains more amount of toxic chemicals than the mainstream smoke. So when a person is smoking, the other persons who are in the vicinity are at more danger. This is because the persons in the vicinity, they are unknowingly participating in smoking. That is why it is called passive smoking. That is breathing someone else's cigarette smoke. Here in this picture you can see the child is smoking the cigarette smoke that is released by his dad. So the passive smokers are at higher risk than the active smokers. Tobacco smoke contains several different harmful chemicals which are known to be carcinogenic. That is, they are known to be or they are proved to be cancer causing. And these chemicals include benzpyrene, benzene, formaldehyde, ammonia, acetone, tar, nicotine, carbon monoxide, oxides of nitrogen, hydrogen cyanide, and so on. There are several different chemicals which are toxic in the tobacco smoke. And I told that nicotine is the poisonous alkaloid that is present in the tobacco, and that is causing addiction. Now let us see what is the action of nicotine. Nicotine is rapidly absorbed. When a person is smoking, he will be drawing in smoke into his buccal cavity or nasal cavity, and from that the nicotine is rapidly absorbed by the blood, and it is rapidly taken by the blood to the brain. And the nicotine, when it reaches the brain, it stimulates the nervous system, and this causes the release of the hormone adrenaline. The effect of adrenaline hormone is to increase the heart rate, and it also increases blood pressure. In addition to that, the nicotine also causes the release of another neurotransmitter which is called dopamine, and this dopamine causes a characteristic pleasure which make the person feel that his tension is relieved, and this causes the development of an addiction towards nicotine. The neurons that release dopamine as the neurotransmitter, they have numerous nicotine receptors. So when a person is smoking, this nicotine molecules, they will bind with these receptors, and they will cause the release of dopamine. Dopamine will make the person feel that his tension is relieved, and he will feel a pleasure, and this will make the person more addicted to nicotine. That is how the nicotine is acting. Now let us see the adverse effects of tobacco. The first and foremost adverse health effect of tobacco is that it causes the development of cancer. There are several different types of cancers which are caused by the tobacco smoking. It is affecting almost all the organ systems of the body. It is carcinogenic because I told that there are several different harmful chemicals present in the tobacco smoke, and these carcinogenic chemicals, they bind to the DNA of these cells. When these carcinogenic chemicals enter into the cells, they will directly go to the nucleus of the cell, and inside the nucleus the DNA is present, and these molecules, they bind with the DNA and they cause genetic mutations. These genetic mutations will now cause the development of cancer in the cells. It can cause cancer in all different parts of the body, and especially the more organs which are prone to develop cancer because of smoking, they are the lungs, throat and mouth. Then the next type of diseases or the disorders which are caused by smoking, they are the pulmonary diseases. The smoking will cause the development of chronic bronchitis. You know that the smoke, it is actually causing an irritation in the respiratory tract. Because of this irritation, the cells which are lining the respiratory tract, they will produce more amount of mucus. This results in the accumulation of excess mucus in the bronchioles. You can see the bronchioles, they are the channels which are carrying the air, which are the passages for the air to the lungs. So these are the bronchioles, and here you can see the bronchioles. So when we inhale air, the air is entering into the lungs, or the air is passing to the lungs through these channels which are called bronchioles. And when we smoke, this smoke will irritate the bronchioles, and the cells which are lining the bronchioles, they will secrete more amount of mucus, and this mucus will get accumulated in the bronchioles, and this will cause further irritation, and that condition is called chronic bronchitis, and it is affecting the passage of air through these bronchioles. Here in this picture you can see the accumulation of mucus in the bronchioles. And normally the lungs of a person is having numerous bunches of small air-filled sac-like structures called alveoli. Here you can see the alveoli of a normal lungs. So the lungs is having numerous small air sacs which are present as bunches, and these bunches of air sacs, they are called alveoli. And these alveoli, they are elastic in nature. You know about the balloon. When we blow air into the balloon will get inflated, and when we release the hands, the balloon will deflate because the air is passing out. Similarly, when we inhale air, the air will enter into the lungs, and the alveoli, the small air sacs in the lungs, they are the alveoli. They will get filled with air and they will inflate. And when we exhale, that is when we release the air out, the alveoli will deflate, and they will push the air out. This inflation and deflation is possible because a normal alveoli is having certain elastic fibers in their wall. They are called elastin fibers. There are certain elastin fibers in the wall of the alveoli which help the alveoli to inflate when we inhale air, and to deflate when we exhale air. But when a person is smoking, the continuous exposure of the alveoli to this smoke will cause the loss of elasticity of these fibers. The alveoli cannot deflate when we exhale air. So air will get accumulated in the alveoli, and the next time when we inhale air, more air will be accumulated in the alveoli, and it is actually failing to get deflated, and this will result in further inflation of the alveoli, and finally the alveoli will burst. This will cause a reduction in the surface area of the lungs for gas exchange, and this condition is called emphysema. And when this chronic bronchitis and emphysema proceeds, it will result in a permanent incurable reduction of pulmonary capacity, and this condition is called COPD, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And the symptoms of this disease includes shortness of breath, wheezing, persistent cough with sputum, and damage to the lungs. So these are the symptoms of COPD. Now let us see about the cardiovascular diseases which are caused by smoking. I told that the nicotine that is present in the smoke causes the release of the hormone adrenaline, and this adrenaline, it causes an increase in blood pressure and the heartbeat rate. It causes an increase in blood pressure by constricting the arteries. If a person experiences a continued high blood pressure and heartbeat or the heart rate, then that can increase the chances of heart disease. You know that in our blood the cholesterol is present, and there are two types of cholesterol, that is low density lipoprotein, which is called the bad cholesterol, and high density lipoprotein, that is called the good cholesterol or HDL. The low density lipoprotein is said to be bad cholesterol because it has the tendency to get deposited inside the blood vessels. In the walls of the blood vessels, this LDL cholesterol will get deposited. If a person is smoking, the amount of LDL in the blood will be higher than the amount of HDL. As a result, this high amount of lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein or the bad cholesterol, will cause the deposition of cholesterol in the wall of the blood vessel. Here you can see the deposition of cholesterol in the form of plaques in the walls of the blood vessel. This will reduce the diameter of the blood vessels, and the blood has to exert more pressure in order to move forward, and this will increase the blood pressure, and the inside surface of the blood vessels will become rough, and the blood cells will have a tendency to get adhered to these rough surfaces, and the blood becomes more viscous, and this increases the chances of the formation of blood clot inside the blood vessels, and the blood is finding difficulty in moving forward, or the wall of the blood vessel will lose the pulsating ability, and this condition is called arteriosclerosis. That is the loss of the ability of the blood vessels to pulsate. That is called arteriosclerosis. And the cholesterol deposit inside the blood vessels will cause the development of plaques. It will cause the development of plaques inside the blood vessels, and this is called atherosclerosis. And all these conditions, that is arteriosclerosis as well as atherosclerosis, they are reducing the blood flow. If the clot is forming in the blood vessel that is supplying blood to the heart, that is a vital organ, and it can cause the development of heart attack. If the clot or the block is forming in the blood vessel that is supplying blood to the brain, that is again a vital organ, it can result in the development of stroke. The smoking can result in the development of several oral and gastrointestinal diseases, and among them the most important one is cancer. I have already told smoking can result in the development of cancer in various organs, and especially it can result in the development of oral cancer, that is cancer in the lip, tongue and mouth. Then it can also cause the development of throat cancer, cancer in the esophagus, and also cancer in the larynx. Other oral diseases due to smoking include periodontitis, that is inflammation around the teeth. Development of inflammation around the teeth in the gums. Then gingival recession, that is the gums will recede so that the roots of the tooth will get exposed, that is called gingival recession. Then white mucosal lesions, white colored patches can also develop inside the buccal cavity, that is on the tongue or beneath the tongue or on the lips, like that white mucosal lesions can develop in the buccal cavity. Then when a person is continuously smoking, the smoke will get deposited in the teeth as tar, and this will cause the staining of teeth and development of bad breath. Then smoking can also cause an increased secretion of hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Hydrochloric acid is normally produced by the stomach when we eat food, and this hydrochloric acid is essential for the digestion of food. And normally the hydrochloric acid will be produced only when food is there in the stomach. In an empty stomach, hydrochloric acid will not be produced. But when a person is smoking, this hydrochloric acid will be produced in the stomach even when it is not needed. And this can lead to the development of ulcers in the stomach. Then smoking can also cause damage to the immune system. It can decrease the immunity of the body. You know that immunity is the ability of our body to protect or defend against the invading microorganisms or the invading pathogens. So immunity is the ability of the body to protect against various diseases. And if our body is lacking immunity, or if our body is compromised in immunity, then our body will be exposed to different pathogens and our body is prone to development of several diseases. So when a person is smoking, the immunity is decreased and the person has an increase in the risk of developing infections. And among them, the risk of pulmonary infections is very high, and the person will also develop an increased susceptibility to HIV infection. Then common cold and bronchitis can also develop. Smoking can affect the reproductive potential of individuals. In males, smoking can cause a reduction in the sperm count as well as a reduction in the motility of the sperms. So, smoking can cause impotency in males. And in females, the nicotine that is present in the smoke interferes with the ability of the ovary to produce the estrogen hormone. You know that ovary is the female gonad and it is producing a female sex hormone called estrogen. And nicotine interferes with estrogen hormone production, and this will upset the reproductive function of the female. And nicotine can also interfere with the transport of embryo. After the fertilization, the embryo has to be transported into the uterine cavity, and inside the uterine cavity the embryo is getting fixed into the wall, and there it is developing during the gestational period. And this embryo transport is interfered by nicotine. For the growth and development of the embryo, it requires nutrients, and the nutrients are obtained from the body of the mother through the blood. There should be sufficient uterine blood flow in order to ensure supply of sufficient nutrients to the embryo. And nicotine is interfering with the uterine blood flow. So these are the effects of nicotine or the effects of smoking in the reproductive potential of individuals. Then if a pregnant woman is smoking, smoke is having its effect on the developing baby. The child will be having low birth weight, the child can be born prematurely, or the child, it can result in stillbirth, that is the child can be born dead. Then the child will be developing certain respiratory complications, or congenital heart defects can also develop, or defects in the central nervous system, that is CNS. Central nervous system defects can also develop, and fetal death can occur. The child will die at the embryonic stage itself, or after birth also the child can die due to the development of several complications. Then smoking is having several psychological effects. People who smoke, they feel that the tension is relieved. They claim that the tension is relieved because of smoking. It is only because the nicotine that is present in the smoke is binding with the neurons in the brain, and these neurons will release dopamine, and the dopamine will cause a feeling of pleasure. But it is only for a short duration of time. It is a chemical process, and after a short duration of time, this dopamine will be removed, and after that the body will develop a dependency for nicotine. That is, the body will demand more amount of nicotine. So actually the person is not relieving his tension, but it is actually a reversal. Relieving effects of smoking, it is only a reversal of the tension, and it only reflects the reversal of tension. And after the nicotine, the effect of nicotine is over, the person will develop more tension and he will develop more dependency towards nicotine. He will develop an addiction towards nicotine and he will demand nicotine. So smoking is actually putting the person in a more stressful condition. Then smoking is also having several social effects, that is, it is affecting the economy. A tobacco user, he is not only wasting money, but he is also running out risk of burns and fire. Then I told that the tobacco smoke will get deposited in the teeth, in the fingers, nails, in the lips, and all these will cause discoloration of the teeth, or staining of the teeth, staining of fingers, staining of lips, etc. And it is also causing the development of a bad breath. And this is actually impairing the personality of the individuals, and smoking is annoying to the others. I told that the persons in the vicinity, they are unknowingly they are exposed to smoke, and they are put to passive smoking. So smoking is annoying to others. Then what can we do to de-addict the tobacco dependency of a person, that is tobacco de-addiction? First, we have to educate the person about the ill effects of smoking. The person may be practicing the habit of smoking because he is unaware of the ill effects of smoking. So we have to educate the smokers about the ill effects of smoking or the adverse health effects, and we have to motivate them to abandon smoking. They cannot do this abandoning of smoking all on a sudden. They have to substitute the smoking by reading, conversation, games, or eating. Then they can also do exercise so that their willpower will develop. And smokers, they have to be given after support. The family, parents, relatives, and friends, they should watch and encourage the persons who give up smoking. And so they should be given proper after support so that they can develop a new lifestyle. Then there are several tobacco cessation clinics which are providing behavioral counseling, medication, and nicotine replacement therapy. Then we can give counseling to the smokers, and this counseling can be given individually. We can talk to the smokers directly, and they can be given proper education, they can be motivated, and they can be given counseling at the individual level. Or counseling can be given at the group level, that is, a group of persons can be called, and in this group smokers and non-smokers can be present. Non-smokers, they have abandoned smoking, and they can share their experiences after abandoning smoking. So that is the advantage of group counseling. Then the family of the smoker, they are also to be given proper counseling. So I told that they have the smokers are to be given proper after support after abandoning smoking. So for that, the family are also to be given proper counseling. Then only they will be able to give proper after support to the smokers. So that is about the ill effects of smoking, and also the various steps we can take for the de-addiction of the smokers. Thank you.